कॉल है।
All right, hello everybody and welcome to our session today. Please make sure your mics are muted. We will keep muting it from our system as well, but please make sure your mics are muted just so that we don't cause too much disturbance here. We have lots of participants in this session. Welcome all to this session. It's really nice to see everybody. It feels like you guys are on campus. So I do need to share my screen again. All right, so this is our town hall forum, and this one is with our faculty. So thank you all for joining us today. We will be faculty, the School of Business and Economics, and we will be meeting a lot of our faculty today. So I think it's a great opportunity for students as well as for TRU to get to know each other, and this will be the beginning of your journey. So I'm really excited for all of you. I'll quickly introduce myself first. So I think most of you already know me. My name is Suraj, and I am the Manager for International Marketing and Recruitment at TRU World. TRU World is the international office at Thomson Rivers University. Why is the annotation on? Yeah, so for just another thing about me is that I am also a School of Business and Economics alumni from Thomson Rivers University. I did the postbachelorate diploma in marketing at TRU myself a few years back as an international student, and I can testify from my own experience how amazing it was. So hopefully I can share a little bit about that today as well. All right, so I do have a few videos to share with you. That will give enough time for the rest students to join in as well. So let's quickly take a look at a few of these stories. In terms of what you can learn from these stories, and then we will move on to talking to our faculty. So somebody is annotating, and I don't know how to turn it off because this is for us. So please stop doing that. Whoever's doing that, thank you. All right, just give me a second here.
Was that actually a
Just a second, guys, sorry.
addressing social issues? For me, my biggest goal was for doing business was that actually addressing social issues using entrepreneurial action. My name is Evan Choi. I'm in the Bachelor of Business Administration, a major in finance, and an economics and new venture entrepreneurship minor. I had moved here in the 3rd grade and went through elementary school and high school here in Kamloops. When I was going to university, my younger brother was actually just 1 year old. So being very close to my family, we actually chose for me to stay here in town and just so I got to know him a little bit more. I actually used to live in the Philippines, and a lot of my family, we had a lot of family businesses and stuff. So since I was younger, I was just surrounded by the entrepreneurship business industry style. So it really interests me the chaos of business and that the structure of it. I like the understanding the different markets and the different trends that we have currently and how the world is constantly changing. Business is everywhere in any career, every profession, and any type of venture that you have. I chose TRU because I knew that it was a very tightly knit community. Through Kamloops is TRU, TRU is Kamloops. And you know what? We actually became, I feel now that we're more of a university town. They come to Kamloops and they just fall in love with this city. Vancouver is 3.5 hours away. Sun Peaks is 45 minutes away. And we're kind of a hidden gem. Summers are great, winters aren't too bad. Overall, for me, I thought that for my professional development, going into the business program, understanding how it works in a smaller city actually gives you a step forward. You're able to have a little bit better relationships with your peers, your professors, and professionals around the community, and they genuinely want to give you advice and help you take it to the next level. And like I said, Kamloops is a very tightly knit community. They want to keep people here locally, and that's something that I think Kamloopsians are very proud of. And we're an up and coming city. The School of Business advisors are actually really great. You know what? You sit down with them, they give you a great plan. I still remember my very first advisor, and I saw her, and she said, you know what? Think of university just for self, not your peers, what other people think, not your family. This is your decision and this is your life. So I think that they gave me the confidence to really make my own decisions and really steer my path in what way I really wanted to. And I am proud to be a TRU alumni.
Thanks, guys. Just one more video here. Let's get that going.
Hi, my name is Vimaljeet Singh. I am 2019 valedictorian for School of Business and Economics, and I have just graduated from post-baccalaureate in international business. I am from India, Uttar Pradesh, and it is kind of like north central India. Coming to a foreign university, international business felt appropriate because, as we know, the world is moving towards globalization, and we're going to have common business culture, business ethics. So I think it just felt more relevant. Before coming here, I completed my bachelor's in technology in electronics and communication. I had the technical side of things. I had a bachelor's in technology, so I'm already an engineer. So I wanted to see the management side of things. If I do anything, I go into proper research. So I went online and searched everything there is to know about TRU, and I was very happy to know that TRU has a very good social media presence, and sitting at home, I could already feel connected. TRU has a lot of spaces for studying. Like for students, you can come at night, they're open. That is not what I've seen back in India. Mostly we have to study just at home. But here, to get that feeling of studying, you come on campus, you study, and other people are studying with you. So it's such a nice atmosphere. I want to be a data scientist because that is an upcoming field. There's so much data. This is the age of information. So there's a lot of information, and the world needs people who can make sense of that data. I also want to start up my own business. Hopefully it's going to be a food truck business, but I do have a couple other ideas. It's a very good thing that TRU has TRU Generator and has these workshops like Startup Basics, in which local entrepreneurs come and you can directly talk to them. I was kind of awed by how professors and lecturers, they're all okay with seeing so many students from different cultures. I thought maybe it'll be awkward or something new happening here, but then it was all okay, all normal, and I was like, okay, this makes me feel at home. The good thing about all these teachers is that they're very clear on what knowledge they have to impart to the student. And teachers are also very well informed, and by the way of style of teaching, you can tell that they're very experienced.
All right, so it looks like everybody's in now. So today's session is going to be in three parts. Our next part is where we are going to introduce our panel to you, and then we will move on to the question and answer round where you can ask your questions to our faculty. Just give me a second here. All right, so on our panel today, we have Dr. Michael Henry, who is the Dean. I'm sure you guys can see in the cameras. We have Dr. Michael Henry, who's the Dean of the School of Business and Economics. We have Lisa Lake, who's the Coordinator for International Partnerships and Programs. We have Dr. Salvador Barragan, who is the Associate Professor. We have Monica McCauley, who is the Graduate Program Advisor. And then we have Rian Okawa as well, who is the Undergraduate Program Advisor, who also looks at post-baccalaureate diplomas. So we do have a full panel for you guys, and it's going to be pretty exciting because they represent every part of the School of Business and Economics, and I'm sure they'll be able to answer your questions. Again, please mute your mics. We will now move on to the message from the Dean. So Mike, all yours. I'd like to request Dr. Michael Henry to share a little bit for our fall 2020 students.
Thanks, Raj. Hello, everybody. Welcome virtually to Camus and to TRU. I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to be here to welcome you. And it's a very interesting and kind of strange time we're in terms of the world today. And I wish that you were all on campus here. That won't happen in September, but we are going to work virtually. And I was thinking about what Evan Choi said about studying business and learning about business. And one thing we know in business is you have to be ready for the unexpected. And that's what we're having right now, is we didn't expect this situation in September. You didn't expect it, but we're ready to adapt, to change, and to make the most of it the same way you would do if you were running your own business. I just want to assure you of one thing, is that we are very confident that it's going to be an exciting term. We had a very full summer term with lots of success, and the entire team at TRU and TRU World and in the School of Business and Economics, myself, all the professors, the advisors, all the other staff are here, and we're absolutely focused on you being successful. So welcome, and I look forward to meeting you more virtually over the term. And if you do have any questions, if you've got any issues or unknowns come now or through the term, reach out to people in TRU World, reach out to our advisors, and reach out to me and your professors. Good luck on the term. I'm excited to have you here, and look forward to getting to know all of you, first virtually, and secondly in person later on down the road. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much, Mike. That was wonderful. I'd now like to request Lisa to share a few words with our students.
Sure. Good morning, or probably good evening for some of you. I'm very happy to meet you virtually, and I will echo Mike's comments that I'll look forward to meeting you on campus as well. My role is one of bridging between True World. I work very closely with the team at True World and with our own faculty in the School of Business and Economics. So I support the advising teams and help to make sure that we've got enough capacity, that there are classes for students when they arrive. So we're all very focused on making sure that transition is a smooth one. And while it will be a different one for you this year, we will do our very best to make sure that that virtual transition is still solid and that you have a very good and successful first term. Thanks, Raj.
Thank you, Lisa. Dr. Sal, can I request you to share your few thoughts, please? Sorry, please unmute yourself. We cannot hear you.
Welcome, everybody. I am Sal. I'm a faculty member and also the MBA academic coordinator. Yeah, as Mike was saying, we've been adapting. I have the opportunity to teach this summer, and I could say that we have a wonderful time with all our students. Every faculty member is adapting really well, and we have had a lot of training on how to conduct.
Sorry, Sal, we lost you.
Oh yeah, it went off again. I just want to say that we've been adapting to teach all of you guys this summer. We have a wonderful experience, and we have received a lot of training how to prepare our sessions, change our sessions, and my experience with the students this summer was great. Everybody was happy, and I'm looking forward to meeting with you. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Monica, can we hear a few words from you? Sorry, Monica, your mic must be mute.
Okay, hi there. Sorry, I was getting a message saying host not allowing me to unmute. So hopefully everything's okay. Can you hear me now? Yeah, okay. Yeah, good morning. And I just want to say, I'm just going to keep this really brief, but we're so happy that, I mean, there's almost 300 students here on this call right now, just interested and keen to see what the possibilities are come fall. I've been an advisor for a long time at TRU and have worked with international students from all over the world. And it's new territory for all of us, new territory for you. All I really want to say is just want to give you some words to hopefully put your mind at ease and give you some confidence in continuing to step forward on this journey, because you just need to know that no matter where you are in the world, we here in Kamloops, at home as well, are 100% committed to making sure that this journey for you is awesome. And we don't want you to have any sense of insecurity about this. That's why we wanted to be here, so you could see our faces, so you could hear our voices, because we are here working hard to ensure that this is a great experience, and we look forward to meeting you through all the mediums, through online and of course eventually on campus. So we welcome you to TRU.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Monica. Rian also used to be my advisor. Sorry, Rian, your mic is mute. Carolina, can we help Rian's mic?
Oh, there we go. It was giving me the same message Monica was getting. So welcome, everybody. As you can tell already, I was an international student once. And looking at, again, the number of participants in this meeting, I'm very so excited for all of you coming to Canada. Maybe not for September right away, but eventually I hope you all joining us. And I'm very excited for the future you lay ahead. Again, it's going to be a bit unexpected journey for you, but I assure you that it's going to be amazing road. And your 2-year program or 4-year program is going to fly by right away, but we are here to make a memory, give you the skill set you need to face ahead of all your futures. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Rian. All right, thank you all the panelists. That was wonderful. We will now go towards our questions. So we're going to ask a few questions that we know that students want answers to, that are frequently asked on all our social media channels, on WhatsApp groups, on by emails. So students, I want you to focus on these question and answers, and then if you still have more questions, feel free to add them to the chat box. But trust me, most of your questions will be answered in the next few slides. So to do this, I'm going to ask the question, and I will let the panelists decide who wants to answer, or just feel free to answer if you know it. So question number 1 is, can you please clarify which courses will be delivered virtually, or face-to-face, or blended?
Suraj, I'll take that one. It's Lisa. So in this fall term, all of the School of Business and Economics courses will be delivered virtually or in a remote fashion. So they'll follow probably a bit of a hybrid model where much of your content will come to you from your faculty through pre-recorded videos, audios, downloaded slides, assignments, and there will be some options where you will also be able to talk in a real time or live with classmates and or faculty, depending on how that course looks. So it will be a bit of a hybrid model, but it will be all done remotely, as in no one will be on campus for the fall term.
That's great. Thank you, Lisa. Our next question here is, why should I study virtually? What are the advantages of virtual learning? What will online delivery look like? And can you please describe what the virtual learning experience looks like? So there's lots of questions in one. So this could be a little bit elaborate and could be more than one panelist, but please feel free to answer. Thank you.
Maybe I could just jump in, then I'll turn over to my colleagues. Why should you study virtually? Because it's an incredible opportunity in the time that we're in, because there's many other reasons why you can't just pick up and go to another country, and COVID's one of them now. So why should you study virtually? Because it can become a rich experience, and even a richer experience. It's interesting, a week ago I was in a meeting with our provost, who's our vice president of academics, and a number of other people, and we were talking about studying virtually. And the provost reminded me that I did my doctoral degree virtually. And I was in Canada and I studied in Australia. And that was a great experience because I got to meet people from all over the world, and I got to continue with my life. And then when it was time and it worked for me and the university, I went to Australia and spent some time there studying. So study virtually because you don't have to delay your start, and you can get a really good high quality education, and you'll get to start meeting your colleagues and your students and your faculty. Does one of my other colleagues want to weigh in on some of this? Nobody's jumping in, but what will the online delivery look like? Lisa kind of talked about this, and there's going to be a range of things. So there'll be times where you will log on and the professor would have pre-recorded a session for you, and then have some learning exercises that you might do with other students around the world, or you might do just by yourself. And then in addition, many professors will also have live lectures and live interaction where you can meet with them, and some of them will have your traditional lecture, and many of them will record it. So if it happens that it's the wrong time for you because we're in different time zones, you'll be able to pick it up as recorded later. And as well, a number of professors will be arranging a time in the class for small groups. So they'll meet with students, maybe 6 at a time or 10 at a time, to make sure that your questions are getting answered and to make sure you're getting what you need. And so it'll be a mixture of, some professors will have the entire class virtually, so you all get together at the same time. And the way to think about that, it sounds like it's a bit of topsy-turvy, but perhaps the way to think about that is when you go to, all of you have studied in high school or in university or college, and you've all had different professors who have slightly different ways of doing things in the classroom. That's what you'll find online, but all of them will be focused on making sure you get what you need and making sure you have time to interact with them and interact with other students as well. Wondering, Sal, do you want to jump in, and because you talked this summer about what teaching was like this summer virtually? I wonder if we've lost Sal.
Oh, hello. Yeah, I couldn't unmute, but I'm ready. Yes, Mike, for me this summer, it was a learning experience, but it was a wonderful experience. I have, rather than having a lecture with all my students, we broke the class into teams. Then I met with some teams on a specific week, and the next week I met with other students. And when we met, I have a team of 7 to 14 people discussing. Everybody got the material in advance. We studied some cases of organizations, and we engaged in discussions. Like we were talking, like if I was in a classroom. It took a little bit of preparation. I think the first week was open to learn. Open to learn how to use the system, how to make mistakes. Everything went smooth. And we have chats. Then some students talk, some students chat with me, and I reply to the chats. We download the chats and send them to everybody. Then everybody had information. We record some of the classes, some of the discussions, then everybody can see the discussion. And other weeks, students didn't have to come to the class. They just have to work at their own time. Then everybody knew when was their time to be face-to-face, well, online, and when they have to just work on their own. And they also have team discussions. Sometimes I let the students work for 20 minutes. They were seeing each other, and I just left the room, and I returned 20 minutes later. We have coffee breaks, tea breaks, like if we were in a classroom. Then it was a wonderful experience.
That's great. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts. I hope this really helped students understand, and I do see it a lot more clearly now too. I'm going to move on to the next one here, which is what is the difference between synchronized and asynchronized delivery? And what if I missed the live lecture portion? I think this is following the second question. Yeah. Sorry, I think it takes a minute or two for you guys to unmute. If there's any challenges, please feel free to raise your hand because I can see.
I think Sal wants to get unmuted so he can answer that question.
Okay. Students and the faculty member have to meet at a specific time online, like we are doing right now. This meeting is synchronous, and asynchronous is when the student has to go not at a specific time to gather material, watch a video of a professor giving a lecture. Some professors decided to put some lectures with screens of Excel. Then the students can see numbers and they can see how you do calculations, etc. But they don't have to be at a specific time. They just have to probably do an assignment that has a deadline, or they have to work on it with Teams, but they can communicate through email, leave messages, then you don't have to be present. Then we will have a mix of these two. As I was saying in my class this summer, some students have a specific class. Wednesdays at 2:30 we have to meet. That was a synchronous discussion. They have the material in advance. They could read the material. They could read the PowerPoint, and then we engage in a discussion, or they have questions. In another weeks, students just have to work on their own. And then the following week, if they have questions, they could have questions with me. Or if they want a specific meeting to clarify the material, we could have a one-on-one chat. Then we will have a blending of this type of things. Now, what happens if you miss a lecture or a discussion? Well, I was saying that this technology allows us to record the discussion, or we could have, I'm going to have some pre-recorded lectures. Then if you don't have the chance to be in the class, you still have chance to see a lecture from me. And in a point in time when you need to meet with me, we can discuss any questions you have. Then you won't miss any information. I think that's it.
That's great. Thank you so much, Sal. Our next.
Sorry. I just want to add one more thing about the taking classes online and what is the benefit of that. I'm sure all of you have watched YouTube to learn something new, whether it's cooking or, ride skateboard, all of those things. It's going to be very similar. You are able to watch everything step by step. If you miss anything, you'll be able to rewind, or I should say back, you know what I mean. So it's going to be very flexible for you to fit how you learn. And if you have any question, unlike YouTube, you are able to send a message to your professor, and hopefully there will be some tutors for your classes, and you'll be able to ask those questions in person, or not in person, but by messages for September. But later on, we hope to have those opportunity in person as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rian. Our next question is, how do I register for my courses? And what is the course schedule like?
Hi, Suraj. I think I'm unmuted finally. So I'm going to just do a little bit of a global one here, and then I think possibly Monica and Rian could speak to this a little bit more. So as you're making that transition into your program for your first semester, we work really closely to make sure that your registration is correct and that you do have courses that you will get into. Once you're on campus or part of our program, because of course you won't be on campus this fall, we will also be teaching you how to register yourself as you move forward. So what does your individual program look like, and how can you then do your own self-registration as you move through the rest of your program? So perhaps Rian could start by talking a little bit about the undergraduate programs, and then Monica could come in and talk about the graduate programs and what that registration piece looks like.
Thank you, Lisa. So I will be helping you guys registering your first semester. So when I receive a list of students from True Word each week, our team will be reviewing your transcript and also reviewing your IELTS score if you need to submit those. We'll be looking at what you have already done and what already, which program you're in, and scheduling you 4 to 5 classes, mostly likely 4 classes for your first semester. So you do not have to worry about your first semester. Everything will be taken care of. But one thing we do want you to do is keep checking your MyTRU student email accounts. Sometimes we will send you important emails, so you do want to check your emails regularly. I think it's, and yes, we don't want to overwhelm you too much in your first semester. So eventually we will have workshops, information sessions scheduled. So watch out for those. So eventually we do want you to have the tools you need to plan ahead and register for your classes for the winter semester. That's it for undergrad part. Thank you.
So I think I'm unmuted now. I'll speak just for a few seconds about what happens at the graduate student level. I mean, it's not super different, but I want to reiterate what Rianne said about checking your MyTRU account, your email account. Of course, in this first semester, at the beginning stages when we're getting you set up, we send all of our communication to both the personal email account that you provided on record through your application, as well as your MyTRU email, so that we can ensure you get it in some way. But please know, as you begin classes and are up and running, we pretty much revert to all our communication from TRU comes to your TRU email. So you must be checking that, or you can very easily set up a forwarding from your MyTRU to your personal, and we can help you with that. We can send you the link for that. So as Rianne said, she kind of stays, we also stay in touch with TRU World to get sort of a status report on where you are with respect to actually starting and all your paperwork is in order. And then you will receive an email from us directly with a brochure, a very detailed brochure on the specific program that you're in, specific grad program that you're in, as well as a personalized letter with, of course, all sorts of details you need to know. Most importantly, the courses will be listed that you are to register in. And that comes after, of course, a full academic review, etc. So we know exactly which courses that you specifically need. And it'll be different from your friend that maybe you meet here today. The difference is, because you're graduate level students, the expectation is you will use the system to register yourself. So all the instructions in full detail will be provided to you, as well as the course list that you are to register in. However, of course, our contact is there. And if you receive any sort of hiccup or any sort of block, you reach out to us. And it's myself and 2 other colleagues. You may have already heard from Tomi or Denise. Any one of us will reach out to help you, but our hope is that the sooner you get comfortable with the systems, the better it is for you. It gives you, you're empowered when you know how to operate the systems for yourself. But we're there to work with you the whole way. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. I think that question was answered very well. I'm going to move on to the next one here, which is what kind of support is the faculty offering for students studying virtually? Panelists, we have made sure that you can unmute and mute yourself. Please feel free to try that again. Sorry, there was a little bit of a technical glitch right in the beginning. So I'm going to repeat the question. What kind of support is the faculty offering for students virtually, studying virtually?
Maybe I could start that and turn it over to Lisa and Sal. Each faculty member will have varying supports. Maybe Sal or Lisa can talk about that. The other thing that we have is we have ongoing supports that you can access on campus, but you'll access them virtually. We have a math help center, an economics help center, a writing center to help you with that. And as well, for those courses that we find that students have extra challenge, that typically have extra challenge, we hire tutors or teaching assistants that will, you can book one-on-one time, or group time with them, and so that'll be available to everybody. Again, for those courses that we tend to see students have more difficulty, and in addition, there are university-wide services. And Sal or Lisa, do you want to talk about the other kinds of supports and office hours and things that faculty provide for students studying virtually?
Yes, I can take that, Mike. Well, for instance, you will have we have a system called Moodle, where we will post the course outline. There you will know when your class is, how to contact your instructor. You will know when you have assignments. You will know what type of readings you have to do, if you have to be present or not present online. You have a team. You will know who are your team members. You will have access to the library, online library, and you can access some of the readings there. You will have training how to access academic material. You will know how to contact your instructor, right? I have students contacting me by email. The students want to have a chat, individual chat, to see how they can perform better. Then we can set at a specific time and have a chat with camera or no camera. In my experience, the majority of the students wanted to chat with camera, but it's up to you to some extent, unless it's a particular discussion. There will be PowerPoint with, you will see probably the voice of the instructor or maybe the video of the instructor giving you a lecture. All these will be posted. Links to specific videos too, some like YouTube channels. Some faculty use YouTube channels, and you will go there. You are very familiar with YouTube. And yeah, this will be some of the material we accessible to you. Lisa, I don't know, you want to add?
Thanks, Sal. Sure, I'll just kind of pick up or wrap up this a little bit. I just want to assure you that as you're making that transition and coming to TRU, we would, of course, as you move onto campus, we would introduce you to all the different supports that are available to you institutionally and within the School of Business and Economics. So we will do our very best to have that same process happen in a virtual model. So we're all institutionally and school-wide working on all those orientation pieces, which will really highlight for you the available services and support that we can provide. So again, just want to assure you that we are doing our best to recreate all of these things for you in this new alternate or remote delivery. So as you're admitted and you move towards September, you will be getting much, much more online in terms of an orientation for available support.
Thank you so much, Lisa. All right, our next question is, how would I be evaluated? How do I take the midterm and final exams? And I think this comes from, in home countries, mostly most students primarily have final exams or just like huge papers. But, maybe if you could also share a little bit about what assignments look like and what submissions look like, and then midterms and final exams, like how do students get graded overall? Thank you.
I think we're probably going to have to call on Sal again for this one because Sal is a teaching faculty member.
You will be evaluated through, as in the question says, with midterms and final exams, but also assignments. Some faculty may like to have discussions or chats. We have this tool that I was mentioning, Moodle, that you will connect online, and you probably will see an assignment there. You can download that assignment that will be in PDF or in Microsoft Word. You sometimes will have to answer questions or do an essay or do some financial calculations, etc. And you will submit that document through Moodle, and your faculty member will mark that assignment and post marks. Then you can get feedback. And exams, well, we are testing many things. Sometimes I have used Moodle where we have a specific time where you have to connect. And it's like you were doing an exam, but you are at home or in an office, and you are taking the test, and you will see in the screen questions. And in some cases, you will have access to your materials. Rather than being in the classroom doing the exam, you will be doing the exam from home. In other cases, you probably will have a series of questions, and you will have a little bit of time to answer and submit with a deadline.
Especially the usually terminal. I was there at that moment, so
sorry, there is some noise in the background. I don't know if it's a video. But every faculty will have a variation on this, and you will start testing. So some faculty may have a quiz, and the quiz will appear on the system on Moodle, and in a specific time, and you will go there, answer with multiple choice, and practically as if you were in a classroom, right? I hope that answers the question.
That does, thank you. All right, and our final question in the preset questions is, why should I plan to enroll in fall 2020 instead of winter 2021? I think a few of our students are thinking, oh, it might be better for them to start in January instead of the September. You know, we want to know from the panelists why you think it is better to start in the fall.
I can maybe start. It's I think it is better if you have a study permit, or will have one for September, to start in the fall. I know you're all anxious to get on with your education, and we can start remotely in the fall. I would start. We don't know what's going to be happening in the world in the winter. We may be in class, we may be online. So why would you delay? We have lots of supports for you. And the other thing, and I know the people at True World, our colleagues there would be really positioned to be able to advise you. But the Canadian government, for those that are interested in a post-graduation work permit, if you study this fall from home, that time period can get credited towards your post-graduation study permit. And you know, if I can speak as a parent, and I'm sure all of your parents are anxious for you to get a good education and to study abroad, the fact that you can actually study for a whole semester and not have to travel to Canada and pay rent in Canada, frankly, and all of that is a little bit of a bonus in this time that doesn't seem like the ideal time. And so that's one thing.
Hey, can I give a moment? Checking maybe on like 10 minutes.
Oh, thank you for turning 60.
But maybe I can also turn it over to one of my colleagues. So the fact that there's 300 of you approximately here right now tells me you're interested in starting your education further. And I think the real question, to be honest with you, Shiraj, is why would you delay? Why would you put it off? You know, get going, dive in. It's going to be a great experience. And to be honest with you, all of you are going to study and you want to launch into careers in some sort of business. Increasingly, business is going to be done virtually, internationally virtually, and think about the skills that you will gain now that'll help you in your career 2 or 4 years from now. One of my other colleagues want to chime in?
If I'm okay to say something, is that all right? I don't want to cut anybody off. As somebody who works front lines with brand new students year in, year out, I just want to, of course, reiterate some of the things that Mike said, like, don't delay, like simply don't delay. The future, we have no idea what's happening in winter. So to hold off on that, you know, there's just no guarantee, and you're ready to go, obviously, otherwise you wouldn't have applied quite yet. As a parent as well, you know, I deal with a lot of students who come and are dealing with a lot of adjustments because they're away from family, some are even away from children. So if you have the opportunity to stay home an additional semester and still begin your high quality education, I would grab that wholeheartedly. going to another country and studying is, I mean, you guys are the bravest of the brave to do that in the first place. But no matter what, when you come here, no matter who you are, there's going to be settlement issues, right? It's a little bit scary. It was a lot scary. Plus all the new structures you're getting used to academically and otherwise. So if you study at home at fall, you have an opportunity to transition into a new education system with new expectations or different expectations, without also having to add on the settlement issues. So let's say all goes well and you come to Kamloops in January. You're already gonna know the academic expectations. So that's not gonna be an additional stress on top of housing, finding a job, dealing with the weather, you know, just those regular life things. So it's almost a blessing in that way that you're given an opportunity to have a bit more of a slower transition into this new life. And I'm only saying that because I've worked with students all the time, and you know, it's quite an adjustment. So whenever we can have a bit of a slower transition into something, it's never a bad thing. Plus, we don't know what's happening in winter, so why hold on? And we would love to just have you start. We're waiting for you. We're ready.
Thank you so much, Monica. Those were some amazing points. I think, is there any other questions that would like to add to this?
Hello, can you hear me?
That's the thing.
Hi everyone. It's so great to see you again. And I think some of you have attended a previous session, so I hope I'm not an unfamiliar face to you. And I'm so proud that, you know, the School of SOBI Business and Economics, and with the dean, with the faculty, with the advising team, they're here to meet with you. And that shows the level of support, that commitment they are provided to you. This is an amazing group, and I'm so happy that we got so many participants today. I do want to address something. You might have seen some technical glitches. We have to confess, this is the first time we're using Zoom. The reason being because we're anticipating so many participants. All other platform we're using, it hosts comfortable 100 students. Normally our class size is no more than 100 students, and probably mostly like 30 or 40. So we have to adapt a large platform. And so we have a little bit adaptation of the technology, but hopefully this was not disruptive. But that raises a really good question for us, like Dean Henry mentioned. We are business students. What business students do, or what business profession do in a crisis like this, we adapt really quickly. You know, science cannot be changed. That's why the vaccine will be so slowly developed. But the business, how the school put things together to allow students to continue to study, how the business adapts social distancing, how a restaurant going to run, how a service agency there continue to service customer, that requires a level of adaptation. And this is a perfect opportunity for you to show that you have that ability to be adaptive and to be part of that change. It's an amazing process. And like Mike mentioned earlier, is we are all future business professionals, and easily a business will be conducted through virtual format. You can reach out to your business partner in Italy, in China, in Korea, and you can easily, you will be so comfortable after this experience to host an online session, to know how to use the platform they're using, and use this as an opportunity. And when I know this is not ideal, we want all of you to be here. And it's not ideal for faculty as well. They have to learn how to adapt a new way of teaching and using different technologies. So those things, we're all in this together, but we really take the spirit of it. How do we, given this condition, we're making a difference. And we want your participation. Like Monica and Lisa said, there's no better chance for you to enroll and get on track of the program that started. Fall has the greatest amount of courses offering, and that's the best time for a new student to start their journey. So we are here to support you, and you have lots of committed team members to support you, advising team, the deans, they're all gonna support you, and it will be a good journey. And I hope you come on board with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Zapeng. We are now going to move on to our Q&A. So I am going to enable the chat. Sorry, I had to disable it halfway because I thought not everybody was paying attention to what was going on here. So we're going to enable the chat. So feel free to start asking your questions, and then we will take them one by one. So at this time, we will only be taking questions that are relevant to the School of Business and Economics, which means only faculty-related, academic-related questions. If you have questions with regard to your visa or your study permit or anything of that sort, that needs to be discussed at a later time or in a different forum, but not at this time. Thank you. There's a question right here. How do we approach a professor if we have questions? So panelists, please feel free to unmute your mics and or just mute. Yeah.
Well, professors are friendly people, believe it or not, but they are friendly people. I can tell you many things. For my students, I give them my email, I give them my Skype account, and usually what they want to do, they send me an email and say, "Hey, Prof, can we talk?" We arrange on a specific day. I have students asking me, "Can we talk on Saturday?" Okay, let's discuss on Saturday, and we put a time, and either we use Zoom like we're doing right now, or Skype. I think I met in both ways, Zoom, Skype, and we have a discussion about whatever they were looking for. Then it's pretty easy. It's like you contact your friends in many different ways.
Thank you, Sal. I think our next question is more about transfer credit. It is a very long question, so I'm going to summarize it. My name is Adrian, and I'm a transfer student. TR is currently evaluating the syllabus of all the courses that the student took back home. The question they want to ask is, how does the faculty do the transfer credit, and how do they go about with the process? And how can they find out which courses they need to register for the fall semester?
If I may, I will go ahead and answer that question. So it is a very complicated process, but we are making sure each semester we provide all the information you need to make the process as smooth as they can be. So we already have a good database built up from all the students have attended at TRU in the past. So the first thing I or my team will be doing is looking at our database and see if the classes. So I will be comparing your transcript to our database and see if those classes have been assessed before or not. If those classes has been assessed, of course, you have the choice not to take those classes at TRU. And of course, if you choose to take those classes, not accept transfer credit, you have that option too. If you haven't, if we find out that those classes you have not taken before, you will still have to submit your official transcript, of course, and you will have to submit your syllabus to our transfer credit team. They are the ones, they're a very efficient team handling all the transfer credit assessment process at TRU. And we will be working with them to plan your classes and make sure you have all the information you need to plan your classes and to get registered into the right classes. I hope that answered that question.
Thanks, Rian. Can I just, Suraj, I'm just going to jump in a little bit here and follow up a bit. So Rian did a very good job of talking about transfer. I'm in the chat and I see a lot of questions around registration. And I really just want to make sure that there's a clarity of understanding here. When you have been admitted to the program, once True World advises us that you either have your visa or there's a very good likelihood of visa, we really respond to when True World advises us that you're ready to be registered. So you do not have to worry about registration. We will take care of that for you. Should we require any more information from you as we move into that registration, and that might include things like following up on transfer credit, we will be in touch with you directly. So please understand that I know that this is very stressful because it's all new, but we are here to make sure that this is a smooth transition. So if we are reaching out to you, we'll tell you what information we still require, or we will just simply say, here's the registration that you need for this semester. Again, as you come into the program, we will work with you to help you make those decisions for yourself in following terms. But in the first term, we will take care of that for you. And again, you only need to worry about registration once True World advises us it's time to get you registered. So watch your emails. Thanks.
Thank you, Lisa. Our next question here is, could we incorporate a grievance and feedback form in Moodle after each online class session for students to give their feedback about the sessions?
Mike Henry here. We don't have a system where there'll be feedback every session, but I think Sal would be the first one to tell you that at almost every point in the course, the professor will be asking you how it's going. They'll be getting feedback from you, and maybe Sal, you could take that in terms of what.
Yes, Mike. It's true. You will get not immediate feedback, but you will get feedback in different points in time. For instance, if you have the first assignment, you will get feedback. You will see your mark, I don't know, maybe a week later, and you will have a specific feedback from your instructor about that assignment. When you have a quiz, you will have a mark, and an instructor may summarize where people need to improve or get more resources. And some faculty have a specific project where you have to submit an early version of the project, and the team will receive feedback. And in my case, that I have discussions, I will provide feedback for those discussions. And when I have a case analysis, a report, I will provide a specific feedback with a rubric. And then there will be feedback along the way. Like you were in a face-to-face class, right? You will have to wait a little bit from the instructor to finish marking or all that. I hope that helps.
Yes, thank you so much. We have another question here, which is, I've applied for post-bachelor diploma in IB, and the student wants to know about math and English requirements. I think the student already might even have a CLOA, that's why they're in this session. But if their IELTS score is a 6.5 with no bands below 6, which is the minimum entry requirement for that program, the question is she supposed to take any more English courses, or does she have any mathematics courses that she requires?
Hi, I'm gonna go ahead and answer that question. So the admission requirement for post-bac programs is actually 6 credits of university English or communication classes from English speaking country. So most of our students are from non-English speaking countries, so they are going to be required to take 1 English class and 1 communication class. English class is going to help you with academic writing skills, and the communication class is going to help you with business writing classes in an English setting, Canada, to be specific. So even if your IELTS score is high enough, then yes, you are, the answer is yes, you would still require to take additional English classes. For those other undergrad programs, such as BBA or accounting technician, English and communication is going to be a part of your program requirements. So it's not additional classes, but it's a part of your program requirement. Thank you.
Thanks, Rian. Our next question is, when could I have access to the courses schedules?
I'm gonna go ahead and answer that question too. So for postbac students, again, our team will be registering you. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't say that. Our team will be picking your classes, choosing your classes, planning your first semester. And once we plan your classes, we'll be scheduling you and we'll ask international admissions team to register you. Once we finished planning your classes, you will receive an email from our office, so the advising office, about which program you're in and also program details. And typically, international admission teams will be registering right after 2 or 3 days after you received the email from us. So once you received an email from us, maybe just wait a few days so that they have a chance to register your classes in your MyTRU. Check your MyTRU account. Check under your course schedule. You will be able to see your course schedule in your MyTRU account. I think for a grad program is a bit different, so maybe I'll ask Monica to take over for grad students.
For sure. Thanks, Rianne. Yeah, a few less steps there at the grad student level, simply because our expectation is you register yourself, of course, with our support. So once you receive your registration package, so to speak, with all the details on how to register through your MyTRU, your course, the recommended courses will be there. Once you register, like Rianne said, you go to your once your registration is complete, that you know you've done it, through your MyTRU, under schedules, you will actually be able to see your week by week, what it's going to look like. If you're not registered yet and you're sort of wondering what are the classes and where do they land, etc., you can at any time go to the TRU website and click on course schedules. You can open up fall 20. And of course, for grad level students, you can search all courses with the acronym BUSN and just let them all come up. You'll see all the 5,000 level courses, you'll see all the 6,000 level courses and the times, the titles, if you just want to get an overall snapshot of what is out there. Rianne's program has a large number of students, so there's many different time choices to choose from. But at the grad level, we're a smaller program, so there might be 1 or 2 time slots that you would choose from. And that will all be outlined for you in your registration package as well. But MyTRU is your hub. That is your information, your self-serve information hub about your finances, about, I don't know if transfer credit is noted in there, but definitely about your registration status, etc. So at any time we can help you navigate through that, but that is your information hub. Thanks.
Thank you, Monica. Students, I do see we have lots of questions here, but unfortunately we are running short on time. We didn't anticipate so many questions. So what that means is that we need to find a better solution to answer your questions. We might even go through all these questions and put them together and send you a full list of Q&A just so that we can answer your questions better and faster. There's 100+ messages, so I'm going to try to pick questions that are probably the most commonly asked ones.
Suraj, while you're doing that, students, I know you're all anxious about registering courses, and the advising team are actually ready to do that. But what I would require you to do at this moment is what you can do is you need to get your application ready for your study permit application. I know for many of the countries that the visa center hasn't been open at this moment, but even with that, I would suggest you to get all the, go through the checklist and work with your agent or referenced on the government website. Get your documents ready. So once the visa center is open, then you can submit your visa application. That's very important. Who will get registered first is student who received their study permit already and the student who already submitted their study permit application. If you have not submitted your visa application, we will wait until you do that, then we will register you, okay? If you wanted to get your courses registered, please do your part so the advising team can do their part. Go get your study permit application done. Thank you.
Thank you, Ziping. I think you answered a few of those questions already then. I think I'm gonna ask this question here, which is where can students find the syllabus for their programs? Is there a website they can refer to?
Sorry, can I just clarify? The question is, where can they find more information about the program that they're going to study at TRU?
Yeah, they want the program details and the curriculum.
Okay, so what we see from other students coming internationally, often the curriculum that I see is quite different from what's provided at TRU. But students can go to our website, so it's tru.ca/business, and within that part of our website, they will find program details for all programs that are offered by SOBI, graduate, undergraduate, postbac diplomas. Within each of those program areas, you should have a link to the calendar description of the course that you will take. So within, say, a postbac diploma, there can be up to 20 courses plus the English and communications. And so you can actually look at the individual details of those courses. But when we talk about the syllabus, that's really like the course outline. That generally comes to you when you start the course, and that's what your instructor or your professor will provide to you, those rich details of the actual, the sort of really deep content of the course. So what you can see from the website, though, is the calendar description, so you can see what the program is made up of and a brief overview of each of the courses within the program that you're studying.
Thank you. Our next question is seems to be a common one as well. It's for students that are in postbac diplomas and wanting to pursue an MBA. How do they ladder into the MBA, and you know, what kind of grades do they need, and what if they want to even change their program to another program when they start with TRU?
So perhaps I can direct this one a bit. Maybe Monica can speak first to the transition between a postbac diploma to graduate, and then Rian could speak to the changing of programs at an undergraduate level, which tends to be more common, students in a postbac in IB who'd rather do a postbac in something else. So Monica, maybe first?
Yeah. So I wasn't sure if Rian was going to speak first, but that's okay. Both of us sort of we work side by side with this kind of stuff. So with students do that sometimes. They come to campus and they start in one program and they get a better understanding of a different program, for example, our grad program, and decide maybe that's something they want to do. Quite often our postbac advisors like Rian will provide really detailed guidance on how to make that transition. We have a certain number of courses that you can take at the postbac level that will then, as long as you earn the proper GPA, etc., will then seamlessly allow you to apply and perhaps get admission into the MBA. And this is where we work really closely with the postbac advisors. If you're sitting with Rian and you're having this discussion, she'll then touch base with me and try to learn a bit more about your academic history so she can see, all right, what should I plan this student to take, because they don't plan to finish the postbac, but rather to move over. So it's very much possible. Everybody's situation in this transition is going to be different, of course, because your academic history is different and the courses you've taken maybe already in the postbac are different than somebody else. But we do have some courses that if you take at the postbac level, you can apply for admission to the MBA program, and those courses will be counted. I'm just trying to give it general because it's a little bit in the weeds to get too detail on that matter, but that is a possibility, a very real possibility, and students do it often. Rian, maybe you can pitch in there as well.
Sure. So we do deal with a lot of students who sometimes want to change their program. So I notice often students choose a program based on what their friends choose or what their agent recommends. But once you get here, you find that maybe you are more passionate about a different subject. Maybe you're international business, but you find out that there are more job prospects in supply chain, for example. Within the School of Business and Economics, we are here to help you to change program to programs. And often you will find some of the classes you required for one program is similar to another program. So switching back and forth could be quite easy, but you don't want to wait to make those decisions too late, because you may have to take extra classes to meet the program requirements. And for those students who are interested in our graduate level programs, as Monica said, we do have a list of classes you can look into and plan ahead. Again, one of the key things is that you want to learn about program requirements. The current program you're in, and also the program maybe you want to switch into. Learn those requirements and plan ahead. And also do your research, right? Don't listen to what your friends to say. Don't listen to what other people say. What are you interested in? So those are important key decision making factors. Thank you.
So before we end this session, I'm going to ask 3 questions that seem to be very popular here. And we'll try to answer that in the most concise format. I think the first question is, when do programs begin? When do classes begin? And when will the first class basically start? Yeah. Can anybody take that, please?
Sorry, I was just looking for the actual date. Classes begin for the fall semester. Classes will begin on Tuesday or Wednesday, September 8th or 9th. The reason I'm kind of hedging here, generally we have an institutional orientation day set up for the Tuesday, which would be the 8th of September, and then classes would begin on the 9th. So I'm not, and I do know that the orientation team at TRU are working very hard at providing an online orientation. So at this point, I would say I'm quite comfortable saying that there will be an online orientation occurring on that Tuesday, which means classes for programs would begin on the 9th of September. Now, that doesn't mean that you would necessarily have a class on the 9th of September. Most classes are once or twice a week. Sometimes there'll be a 3 times a week meeting. So you may not actually have a class until Thursday or even Friday, but the first week that we are starting our programming for September will begin on Tuesday, September 8th. The Monday is a holiday in Canada, so there are no classes on the Monday. So Tuesday is the official start of the semester.
Thank you. Our next question is about study material and textbooks. Where can students get those resources from? Maybe Sal, if you want to take that.
Well, once you are registered into a class, you will know what material you require. If it's a textbook, you may have to acquire that textbook. I don't know if TRU, the bookstore of TRU, will sell textbooks and deliver online. Maybe somebody will answer that question. But for sure, you can buy the textbook through Amazon. Other faculty may not use textbooks. I don't use textbooks. I have readings. Then you will have to go to the library, online library, and download those articles. Then it varies, but yeah, you will know what textbook you need, and you will have to acquire it in advance.
Thank you so much. So with this, we will end today's session. I'd like the panelists to share maybe if you have some tips for our students in terms of, for them to start with fall 2020. If you have any tips, any suggestions, any thoughts, please feel free to share.
If I can say a few words.
Go ahead.
I would like you to finish it. I saw lots of questions in the channel, in the chat channels. If you ask something about academic, guess what? TRU.ca, our website, has so much very academic rich information. And there's a search bar. Just type in your question. Guess what? Quite likely you'll find an answer for that. What's a major? What is a minor? How many courses included in my program? It's all listed on the website. And you guys are university students. Let's do a little bit of research already. Let's do that. And I really appreciate the SOBI faculty put together an amazing program that's so accessible. You know, you're worried about accessing the program, but like Sal mentioned earlier, all the courses at your ease, you can access at your convenience, at your time zone, and as your when you convenient to you. So those are available to you. And then the support team, the advising team, the student service support team will be there to help you. So I hope there are unanswered questions, please keep in touch with us. The email we sent to you, lots of the questions answered in those emails as well. Our numbered communications, please refer to that as well. So be resourceful. And we wish you good luck with your visa application. And we hope to be able to study together with you in the fall. So thank you and good luck.
I also want to, speak something out before I pass to the dean to finish. I just want you to take a look at your screen and look at each other. All the students are there. Look at all those faces. Isn't that going to be exciting? You will be studying with all these people. Like they may sitting at home right now and in their room, bedroom, but eventually you'll be together in one classroom and sharing your thoughts, your discussion, your experience with each other. So I'm very excited that you will be joining us. Thank you.
Thank you again. Anybody else from the panel? Yes, Monica, please.
Yeah, I just as we close up, I just also want to just continue to give a couple inspirational words, just because we all sort of need that from time to time. But right now, we're all in this together, like you've heard many times. But in times of crisis, in particular, we just have to forge on. We have to show resilience, and we have to show solidarity. And the fact that we can continue education in a time of crisis like this, we have the opportunity to do so, to me is absolutely incredible. In different points of history, when major crises have hit, everything shuts down, education included, but we have this opportunity to continue. And I just really want you to, I really just want to encourage you to give that some deep consideration, that life goes on and education must go on. And we've been working probably more hours than we ever have to ensure that we're ready for it. So we just want you to have the confidence that what you're going to get is going to be good. And we're just really looking forward to just moving on with you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Monica. Yes, Lisa.
And I'll follow up on what Monica was saying. I think like she says, in times of crisis, though, we do find a way forward. And in this particular case, I think it's really opened us up to some really rich innovation and creativity from faculty, from staff, from students themselves, and how they're approaching this. And I think, as we move forward and understand more and more about, the world around us, we're going to use some of those creative ways of educating students. So even when you're back on campus, we've got a whole other toolbox now that we can use that is rich, and I think the experience will be a really good one. So again, I really commend you for continuing, and I would say, as others have said, really there's no reason to wait. Come and start studying with us in September, even though you're doing it remotely. We're here for you, and we will make sure that this is a good experience.
All right.
Siraj, if you'd like me to kind of wrap up, I guess I've got about 4 things I'd like to say to you really quickly, everybody. Number one, thanks for being here. And my colleagues have said it probably better than I will. We're in a whole new world. And what is happening now, those of us who study business and who study events in the world, we are in some major, major shifts in our world in terms of business. We're in major shifts in terms of the world, in terms of society, and how we're going to interact, not just with COVID, but with world events right now. And the one thing that we know is the pathway forward for our societies, for our business communities, is really about what Lisa talked about and Monica. It is about innovation, it is about creativity, and that is why it's so important for us to keep education going, because you folks on here will embrace this education, and you will be that future innovation, and you will be that future creativity, and you're going to make a big difference in the world, which is why we need to keep forwarding ahead. I'm a professor, so I have to give you an assignment, or I guess I wouldn't be doing my job. And here's my assignment, back to what Shiraz said, which is go onto the website. There is incredible amounts of information on the website. On the website, first write down all the questions you have. go on the website and see if you can find answers. And when you can't find answers, then reach out and start developing relationships. Number one, start talking to people at True World. Number two, start talking to your advisors. Again, if you can't find information, ask informed questions. When you start your classes, ask your professors. And then, and as important as all three of those, when you start your classes, start asking questions of each other. I see some people putting in the chat, I've got a WhatsApp, let's meet there in our program. And the relationships you make here and the colleagues that you'll develop here will stick with you for a lifetime. So don't hesitate reaching out to the relationships at TRU World, TRU SOBI, and to your professors, but also to each other, and get involved. And so my last message is relax. It's a new world. It's going to be okay. We're all learning how to do this. And one of the things that my last thing I just want to remark, it's such great to see about 300 people show up today for this virtual. And unlike what we would have done in the past, and I think about a year ago when we would do sessions when for people for orientation, Lisa talked about, we would have you all in rooms or we'd have you outside and we'd have microphones and we'd be talking to 300 people. But here I am in my den at home and I see you in your home, I see you in your office, I see a few of you in your vehicles as well and outside as well. That's okay, and that's what's going to happen here. And even though we're in a very different space, it's going to be the same space. We're going to come together, we're going to learn together. So I encourage you to put a positive hat on, go to the website, get all of your questions answered, and those you can't get answered, reach out and start getting that information, but also start building those relationships. And thanks to our colleagues at True World, and especially to all of you for making today happen. So good luck, folks, and I look forward, someday it will come that we will welcome you on campus in person. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Mike. I do have to end the session now because I realized that till we don't end this session, we cannot start our next one because that's how Zoom works. We're learning. So our art students are waiting. So I want to thank everybody once again, and yeah, take care and stay safe. It's a different time, but everybody's doing a fantastic job. So we will end the session today. And if you have any questions, please email us at welcome@true.ca or follow us on Instagram. Thank you all and have a good one. Take care.
Well, I've been really impressed. I've just been here for a few minutes, and I've had some very good conversations with some prospective candidates. I think I was really blown away with the number of people that are here and attending, and the number of organizations that are recruiting.